millions of years ago. The land beneath Vietnam cracked open. Rivers of fire poured across what is now the Central Highlands, burning forests, reshaping mountains, and turning the earth black. But something even stranger happened beneath the surface. As the lava kept flowing, its outer layer began to cool and harden. Inside, the molten river was still moving, and when the fire finally drained away, it left behind enormous empty tunnels beneath the ground, a hidden volcanic labyrinth. For thousands of years, these caves remained sealed in darkness under the jungles of Dak Nong. No cities above them, no signs on maps. Almost nobody knew they existed until explorers entered the darkness and discovered one of the most extraordinary lava cave systems in all of Southeast Asia. Long black tunnels, frozen waves of stone, walls shaped by ancient rivers of fire. This was not a normal cave. It was the inside of a volcano itself. And beneath Vietnam today, that forgotten volcanic world still exists. Today, the Central Highlands of Vietnam look peaceful. Green forests, coffee farms, rolling hills covered in mist. But millions of years ago, this land looked completely different. The earth beneath Thanh Nguyen was unstable. Deep underground, pressure and molten rock were building for ages beneath the surface of the planet. Then the ground began to break apart. Cracks opened across the region, and from those fractures, lava erupted onto the surface of Vietnam. Not once, not in a single explosion, but over and over again across immense stretches of land. Rivers of molten rock flowed through the ancient landscape like glowing red oceans. Entire valleys disappeared beneath fire. Forests burned, the sky filled with ash and volcanic smoke. What is now Dak Nong was once part of a massive volcanic world. These eruptions continued across different periods for millions of years, and slowly, the lava began reshaping the land itself. As the molten rock cooled, it hardened into layers of basalt. That is why much of the Central Highlands today is covered by dark volcanic soil, some of the richest farming land in Vietnam. The coffee fields of modern Thanh Nguyen exist because of ancient fire beneath the earth. But the volcanoes created something even stranger than fertile land, because not all the lava stopped on the surface. Some of it kept moving beneath hardened rock, like underground rivers of fire. And when those rivers vanished, they left behind something almost unbelievable beneath Vietnam. Most people imagine volcanoes as explosions, mountains erupting, ash clouds rising into the sky, fire destroying everything in its path. But some of the most extraordinary volcanic creations happen quietly, beneath the surface. When lava flows across the land, its outer layer begins cooling almost immediately. The air above it is colder. The ground below absorbs heat. So slowly, the surface of the lava hardens into rock. But underneath that solid crust, the molten lava inside is still moving, still flowing, still burning at temperatures hotter than 1,000 degrees Celsius. What forms is something astonishing, a natural tunnel carrying rivers of fire beneath the earth. Scientists call these tunnels lava tubes. They can stretch for hundreds of meters, sometimes even kilometers. Inside them, molten lava continues flowing like an underground river. Then eventually, the eruption weakens. The lava drains away, and the fiery river disappears into the distance. But the tunnel remains, empty, dark, silent, a gigantic hollow passage carved by volcanic fire itself. In Dak Nong, this process happened again and again over ancient volcanic fields. Over time, entire underground networks formed beneath the Central Highlands of Vietnam. Some tunnels collapsed, Others survived almost perfectly intact for thousands of years. Inside these caves today, scientists can still see frozen lava waves on the walls, flow patterns hardened in stone, and strange formations created when molten rock cooled in darkness. It is as if time suddenly stopped inside a volcano, and hidden beneath the forests of Vietnam, those ancient rivers of fire are still visible today. For centuries, the volcanic caves of Dak Nong remained hidden beneath forests and basalt hills. From above, the landscape looked ordinary, but underground, an entirely different world existed. When explorers and scientists finally began studying the region more closely, they discovered something remarkable: a massive network of lava caves stretching beneath the volcanic fields of Nguyen. Some tunnels were narrow and unstable. Others opened into enormous chambers deep underground. The walls were black volcanic stone. The ceilings curved smoothly like frozen waves, and everywhere there were signs that these caves had once carried rivers of molten lava through the earth. Among the most famous sections are caves, known simply by scientific names like C7 and C3. Long, dark tunnels extending deep beneath the jungle floor. Some parts are so large that people standing inside look tiny against the volcanic walls. Others are filled with strange textures formed by cooling lava thousands of years ago. Scientists discovered lava shelves, lava ropes, and ripple-like patterns frozen in stone. It looked less like a normal cave and more like the inside of another planet. What shocked researchers most was the scale. The Dak Nong volcanic cave system is now considered one of the most important lava tube systems in Southeast Asia. And unlike many volcanic regions in the world, large parts of these caves remained surprisingly untouched. No massive tourism, no giant infrastructure, just darkness, silence, and the remains of ancient underground fire. For explorers entering these caves for the first time, it felt like discovering a hidden world beneath Vietnam itself.
For something so extraordinary, the lava caves of Dak Nong remain strangely unknown to the outside world. Part of the reason is geography. These volcanic fields lie deep within Vietnam's Central Highlands, far from the country's major tourist routes. Dense forests, remote roads, wide stretches of basalt land that reveal almost nothing from the surface. From above, there are few signs that enormous tunnels exist underground. And unlike famous limestone caves filled with giant stalactites, lava caves look darker, more silent, more alien. For many years, even within Vietnam, relatively few people realized how unique these volcanic systems truly were. The world already knew Vietnam for other natural wonders: towering limestone mountains in places like Long Bay, massive cave chambers in Phong Nha Ke Bang National Park. Those places became internationally famous, but the volcanic underground world of Dak Nong remained hidden in the shadows. And perhaps that mystery made the caves even more fascinating, because entering a lava tube feels different from entering an ordinary cave. There are no glittering crystal formations, no colorful lights, only black volcanic walls, strange frozen textures, and the feeling of walking through the remains of an ancient disaster. It is quiet in a way that feels almost unnatural, as if the fire vanished only yesterday. Even today, many people outside Southeast Asia have never heard of these caves. Yet beneath the forests of Vietnam, one of the region's most extraordinary volcanic worlds still waits in darkness. At first glance, the lava caves of Dak Nong seem completely lifeless. Dark volcanic stone, cold air, endless silence beneath the earth. But over thousands of years, life slowly entered the darkness. Tiny plants began growing near cave entrances, where sunlight could still reach. Moisture collected along volcanic walls. Insects moved into hidden cracks. Bats found shelter inside the long underground tunnels. And gradually, an entirely new ecosystem adapted to this ancient volcanic world. Inside many lava caves, the temperature remained surprisingly stable throughout the year. Cool, quiet, protected from the harsh weather outside. For some forms of life, These caves became perfect refuges. Scientists studying the caves discovered microorganisms surviving on mineral-rich volcanic surfaces, small creatures adapted to darkness, and fragile underground habitats hidden beneath the forests of Vietnam. But the caves may hold something even more important. Evidence suggests that ancient humans once used parts of these volcanic tunnels as shelter in a landscape shaped by fire, storms, and wild animals. The caves offered protection, a hidden place beneath the earth. Some researchers believe humans may have entered these tunnels thousands of years ago, long before the modern world even understood they existed, and perhaps that is what makes the caves of Khe Nong so extraordinary. They are not just geological formations, they are worlds created by fire then slowly reclaimed by life. A place where destruction eventually became survival, and deep underground in Vietnam today that process is still continuing in silence. For decades, the volcanic caves of Khe Nong remained one of Vietnam's least known natural wonders, but that may not remain true for much longer. Around the world, volcanic landscapes have become major destinations for scientific tourism and adventure travel. People travel to Iceland to walk across lava fields. They visit Hawaii to witness active volcanoes shaping islands in real time. Entire tourism industries have grown around volcanic geology, and yet beneath the forests of Vietnam, a similar volcanic world still remains largely unexplored by international travelers. That is what makes Khe Nong so unique. It is not only beautiful, it is rare. Few places in Southeast Asia contain lava tube systems on this scale. Even fewer remain so untouched. The region already possesses something modern travelers increasingly search for: authentic discovery. Not crowded tourist cities, not artificial attractions, but real landscapes shaped by deep geological history. Places that still feel wild, places that still feel hidden. Scientists believe the volcanic heritage of Tay Nguyen could become one of Vietnam's most important geological tourism assets in the future, not just for adventure but for education, conservation, and scientific research. Because these caves tell a story far older than human civilization itself, a story written by fire beneath the earth millions of years ago. And perhaps one day the world will no longer know Vietnam only for beaches, rice fields, or limestone mountains, but also for the forgotten volcanic world hidden beneath its forests. Millions of years ago, the earth beneath Vietnam opened in fire. Volcanoes reshaped the land, rivers of lava flowed through the Central Highlands, and beneath the forests of Khe Nong, they carved enormous tunnels through the darkness. Today, the fire is gone, the volcanoes are silent, but their hidden world still remains underground, a forgotten labyrinth created by molten rivers beneath the earth. And perhaps that is what makes these caves so extraordinary. They remind us that even beneath familiar landscapes, entire worlds can remain undiscovered. But this story does not end here, because hidden inside the volcanic fields of Vietnam lies something even more remarkable. One cave system so massive that it became known as the longest lava cave in Southeast Asia, a place where explorers walked through ancient rivers of fire beneath the earth itself. And in the next episode we descend into that darkness.